On Tuesday night, Tea Party candidates were shut out in that night's House and Senate primaries in Ohio and Indiana and North Carolina, showing a remarkable reluctance to give up on the Beltway narrative anyway, though. The AP ran this inexplicable headline about the primaries. I've got this printed out and taped up on the wall in my office next to my desk because I think it's so awesome. Unharnessed anger. Incumbents win in North Carolina, Ohio, and Indiana. But if it's unharnessed anger, wait a minute, oh, geez. Also, the Christian Science Monitor said this: primary election results. Establishment candidates battered. Results from Tuesday saw establishment candidates face stiff opposition from challengers, who they beat. Put another way, establishment candidates succeed. Tea Party movement may be louder and more reported than it is powerful or organized. Joining us now is Steve Kornacki. He's news editor at Salon.com. Steve, thanks very much for being here.
Happy to be here.
I enjoy reporting on the Tea Party phenomenon as much, if not more, than anyone. Do you think that the pure enjoyability of that movement has caused there to be essentially a media fisheye lens effect on their effectiveness?
Yeah, I mean, I have to plead guilty too. You know, as an editor, we were trying to making decisions every day about what do we put up, what do we not put up for stories. And you know, if it's a Tea Party story, you realize it's generally going to get a reaction. You're generally going to find something that's pretty colorful. You're generally going to find something that the audience responds to. But when you look at what the Tea Party itself actually is, and I think what it represents in politics, I think it represents something that's not new at all, and that we completely understand. It represents, you know, the Republican base, the base of the Republican Party, and specifically how the base of the Republican Party reacts when they're completely shut out of power. We've seen this before. There was no name for it in 1993 and 1994, the last time the Republican Party was out of the White House, was out of the House, was out of the Senate. But the venom was there, the sort of irrational, knee-jerk rejectionism of Bill Clinton, of the Democratic agenda. It was all there. There just wasn't a name like the Tea Party to latch onto. And I think you're seeing that, you know, again now, you're just seeing that sort of knee-jerk rejectionism, and it comes under the name Tea Party. I think the problem with the media and the problem with this whole perception that it's this new force that's, you know, all-powerful that you're talking about there, I think the problem is it's getting mixed up in something else that's not new at all in politics, and that is the buyer's remorse nature of midterm elections. It was inevitable, you know, if you think back to Obama's election in November 2008 and the euphoria and all of that, and that was obviously legitimate. It was a great night for a lot of people, but it was inevitable from that moment that a Democratic president with massive Democratic majorities in the House and in the Senate, entering office with double-digit unemployment looming and all of the economic catastrophe that he inherited, not to mention 2 wars, there was going to be substantial buyer's remorse. And buyer's remorse means that the swing voters, the voters who are willing to vote Democratic or Republican, there are some of them out there, they latch on to the opposition party simply as a vehicle of protest. And they don't look at all the details. You know, I think a lot of the people that have moved against Obama, when you see these polls that, you know, his popularity may be dropping a little bit, Democrats aren't looking good in 2010, these are people who are simply latching on to the Republican Party as a protest vehicle. They will go back to the Democratic Party because they like Obama, if the economy recovers, because they like Obama. But right now, the media looks at these big poll numbers and says, wow, Obama's dropping, Republican candidates are doing well, therefore the Tea Party movement's on the rise. But there's 2 different things going on
But
there.
the media getting things wrong isn't just a reflection of the media being dumb or easily swayed. The media getting things wrong also can have an effect on politics. And if the perception of the Tea Party is dominating the perception of opposition politics, that affects whether or not people are willing to sign up with the opposition, does it not?
Sure, I think, yes, it will. And this is the trap for Republicans. And this is why, at one level, you want to bemoan what the media is doing right now because you feel they're getting it wrong. And I think they absolutely are. But this is a classic trap for the Republicans. And you can see, I don't want to get too wonky with history here, but this is sort of a trap the Democrats fell for in 1981, 82, when Ronald Reagan first came to power. They didn't understand the basic nature, the buyer's remorse nature of 1982. And the Democrats absolutely slaughtered Reagan in the 82 midterms. And they said, well, we don't need to change. And they nominated Walter Mondale in 1984, and a 49-state, you know, catastrophe ensued. The Republicans, I believe, are going to do well this November simply because of the buyer's remorse nature. But then they're going to wake up, and the unemployment rate's going to be under 8% in 2012. And guess what? Then the Tea Party's a problem. Then that identification's a problem. And then Obama's still standing there with that personal popularity he had in 2008. That comes back, just like Reagan did.
And that's why it matters, even if Tea Party candidates can't win in elections, if they do succeed in dragging mainstream Republican candidates really far to the right in terms of policy, Republicans end up paying the price in 2012.
Absolutely.
That's right. Alex, Steve Kornacki, news editor at Salon.com. I can't believe we haven't had you on the show before. I really enjoy you, and I hope you'll come back.
Thank you.
Very good. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.